What's going on, people? Welcome to a new video on LSTV, and we got a lot to talk about today, man. Bruno Fernandes is staying at Manchester United, and Jadon Sancho is not being signed by Chelsea and is returning to Manchester United. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, Bruno Fernandes is staying at Manchester United. It's been confirmed. He rejected Al Hilal offer. How do I feel? Honestly, I'm 50-50 on this situation. Now let's start with the negatives. The negatives are we could have got money out of this situation and reinvest it in our squad. You could say that maybe it was time for Bruno to leave. It wasn't a good ending of United career because we did lose the European final and it was a second loss in the European final. But I think he did all he could with his ability. I'm not saying that he's world class or anything, but he did pretty well at his time at United. And a lot of people thought, hey, it's just time. It's end of the chapter. It's the end of the road. You didn't take us to that next level. At the end of the day, he was a part of our worst seasons in history. As good as he was individually in his moments, we still a part of the worst team in history, right? So you can say that, and by that merit, he should leave. I think personally we should have sold Bruno. But I think he just doesn't want to go to Saudi. I think he just doesn't want to do that. At 30 years old, you want to still be in Europe. I think if he got an offer from a Bayern or like a Juve or something like that, I think he would have taken it, and I would understand. So, but the reality of the situation is he said no. The positives are, you still get the leadership aspects, I guess. But a lot of people like Bruno in the dressing room. The manager really likes Bruno. He's liked a lot by the club. Because, let's be honest, I think he is kind of a cult hero in a sense. He's not a legend, but he is a cult hero. Because there's a lot of games where he hasn't turned up in big moments, like the European final, because he was absolutely dreadful in that European final. And those are the kind of games you wanted to turn up in. But there are games where he has turned up and has saved us from situations and has, propelled us to be a little bit better than we are, being shown or whatever. So that's why it's more 50-50 for me, because I don't think, I kind of like Bruno as a player, kind of as a person. I think he's a nice person, a good person, great person in the dressing room. But the negatives are he loses his head on the pitch. He treats the ball like a grenade or a time bomb for some reason, just when he gets frustrated. And that just seeing that goes into the whole squad and everyone gets frustrated. So that's the negative side of things. So that's why I think he should have left. I think it was just his time. I think we should have just had a complete new rebuild, complete new culture, complete new players. Replace Bruno with a big midfielder maybe, and then reinvest the rest of it on a striker, maybe get like a Gokarest or an Osimhen or something like that. And maybe we would have been better off, but he's staying. So he's gonna play in the two center mids. I don't think he can play in a 10 position because he doesn't really drop a shoulder. He can't really play in tight spaces. So I think his best position would be in that deep line playmaking role in the two center midfield spots. But where does that leave Manu? That's what a lot of people will say. Like, are we gonna sell Manu now because Bruno's staying? And what I say to that is no. I don't think we're gonna sell Manu. I think that Manu is in a great kind of situation. I think that because he was such a starter under Ten Hag, people are forgetting that he's really only had 2 seasons of professional football, and that was his breakthrough season. And he's a brilliant player. I think Manu's one of the best technical players in the squad. I think he's one of the best players in the squad, but I think it's better that he eases his way into being a main starter from here on out. Because that's what you want to do with young players. You want to ease them in, give them their moments when they can, and get them playing. But I think Manu will still play games next season. I think he can maybe play next to Bruno sometimes because there are rumors of him coming out and working on his physicality and speed and all that kind of stuff, which can come with age. He's still young. He's gonna get those kind of things, those things into his profile. So if he can do that, he can play next to Bruno. He can also fill in his squad depth for the 10s. Let's say Mbuemo's out or Acuna is out. You can put a Mount. You can put a Manu there. So I think Manu will get playtime. So I don't think it has anything to do with him. But yeah, Bruno's staying is huge. I don't know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Definitely. Do y'all rate Bruno? Do y'all think he's world class? Do you think he's an elite player? I just think he's a good player. And that's it. That's all there is to say about him. But moving on from Bruno Fernandes, let's go into Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is coming back to Manchester United because Chelsea are not going to exercise the obligation to buy, by the way, the obligation to buy because of his wages, which we gave to him. So this is our fault. So they're going to give us 5 million as like a penalty fee for not signing him obligation to buy because of his wages. And, you know, do you think he would work at Man United if he came back? I personally think he would, as one of those 10s. That's one of the 10s. If you can get him out of there and then put Sancho on the bench and get him rotated in there, I think he'll do brilliantly. But I think that bridge is gone. I think it's over. I don't think he's gonna come back to Man United and start playing and being a part of the squad or anything like that. I think he'll just get sold, and I think we'll get decent money for him because he did play decently at Chelsea. You know, he was inconsistent. Should have done better. But now they have Champions League. I think they just told him, yo, like, we have Champions League now. Like, we don't need to keep players like Sancho. You know what I'm saying? We can get better. Or we can just get someone else because it's not really technically our player. You know what I'm saying? So they just took the opportunity and didn't sign him. So it's unfortunate. But what does this mean for us? I don't really think it changes anything. He's not, as I said, he's not coming back in the squad. So you're just going to get sold like normal. I wouldn't freak out about this situation. I wouldn't like say, oh my God, like, are we doing it again? We're getting players and not moving them on, struggling to move them on, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's the case. I think Sancho will get a move. I think he'll have interest from a lot of clubs in Europe. And even Saudi, let's say, he might even go to Saudi. I don't think he should do that. Please, to God, Jadon, if you're watching this video, please don't go to Saudi. Please do not go to Saudi. You're 24, 25 years old. You're a baller. You don't need to be doing that, broski. Don't do that right now, man. But yeah, he will get offers. I do think that we'll definitely be able to get rid of him. Because he cannot come back to United, man. It just wasn't a good enough for what he did at United. Although I think it wasn't all his fault. It just wasn't good enough. So I think that ship has sailed, and it's just time to just move him on. Really, that's really all there is to say about it in terms of Sancho. But to just talk a little bit about and Mbeumo coming in, I didn't really talk about that. I'm very excited about that signing. As you know on the channel, I've been raving about Ryan Cherky. I really, really, really wanted Ryan Cherky, but it looks like he's gonna go to City along with Reinders. So Mbeumo was the next best option. 20 Premier League goals last season. From a Brentford side, he's a good player. I think he got 9 Premier League goals back to back the seasons before. He scores goals in the Premier. We need to keep signing players within the Premier League. We've got Cunha and Mbeumo. I think that's a great spine right there in our attack. That's just amazing. You know, 2 players that know the league, 2 players that score goals, which is what we need, and 2 players that want to join our club regardless of us not being in European football. So you know they want to play for the badge and they want to do well for us. It's no money motivated. It's not anything like that. They genuinely just want to play for our club, which means we still got that juice. You know what I'm saying? We still got that juice. We still have that Man United juice. It's not gone nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't think it's gone. It's still here, people. It's still here. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about that Mbeumo signing. I think it's a brilliant signing. I hopefully can get that wrapped up in the next week or 2 and move on to other targets. But that's it for the video. Just want to do a short video or just to let you all know what's going on. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out my TikTok, which I'll put in the link in the description. And I will see y'all in the next video. So peace out, people.